Of Money Study Group at the University of Houston. I'm Jim Munchback. We're about to begin. I am going to jump into Zoom now and see if I can allow some folks to join. Let me get some of this stuff out of my way. I know you can't see my actual screen, and so trust me, there's a lot going on here. Let's see, Zoom. I want Zoom. I have several participants waiting to join. So let me admit everyone and then we'll do a sound check. Hey, welcome everyone. Tom, I see that picture. Yen, you're getting settled. Everybody's muted, it looks like. If somebody can give me a sound check, just let me know that you hear me. That would be really awesome. Good morning, everyone. Nice picture. Hey, Mandy. So I guess that means yes, you can hear me. Thank you very much. And Raphael even typed it in the chat. So if you would, go ahead and type in the chat what time you got here. I save those chats. Just sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't, but at any rate, I appreciate that. I'm going to just kind of ramble for a minute while we let students show up. As usual, as I mentioned before, I'll give you 5 minutes to show up. If you don't show up within 5 minutes, you probably won't get admitted to the Zoom meeting. The good news is this is being streamed live to Facebook and the YouTube. So if you ever need to watch after the meeting, or if there's something you want to go back and review, you can do that. There's a YouTube playlist. Again, here I believe at the top of Missional Money. It's also in your money study group, but I'm using missionalmoney.com this semester as a just kind of a tool. We're going to use the podcast at Missional Money as well as just the site. So that the reason I'm telling you that is because that big red YouTube icon there should take you to our playlist. Let me make sure. It's probably going to play something here. But anyway, give me just a second. So this is what is a financial plan. You know what? I lied. You're going to have to go to your to Missional Money. To Money Study Group. It's in your course. So I lied. This will take you to the playlist for the podcast. So anything that I post in the podcast this semester actually will be posted in this YouTube playlist. So when you go to missionalmoney.com, if you want to see the playlist from the podcast, it's always a video. That's where you'll see it. And that's important this week because I posted this in Missional Money. I posted it to the podcast, but I also posted it in your money study group. So it's setting up your Bayrock plan. That's what we're going to talk about for a few minutes this morning because that's what you've been doing this week. For each of you who created an account at Bayrock, you had a few steps. Basically, you had 6 data cards to go ahead and complete. And then at the end of that, after you put in your name and your birthday and your goals and all of those 6 data cards, which, by the way, are outlined in this video. And it's, again, I put this in Money Study Group, but it's also at missionalmoney.com, Bayrock Plan Setup. When you watch that video, if you haven't already done so, you'll want to watch that video and get your Bayrock financial planning portal set up. And to do that, you click on the link. This link is everywhere. It's at missionalmoney.com. It's in Money Study Group. It's in the syllabus, I believe. But anyway, where it says update your plan, that's the button that takes you to this page or this form. And this form is where you will create your account. So most of you have already done that. Thank you for doing that. But those of you who have not, you're going to run into problems. And so it is now 10:05, a.m. I'm going to get started. I'm going to admit anyone who has not been admitted, and from here moving forward, it's now 10:05 a.m. It's actually 10:06, it looks like. That's strange. My Apple Watch says 10:06, and my Mac computer says, now it says 10:06. And they're not synced up perfectly, which is strange. So here we go. Let's get started. Setting up your Bayrock plan is critical for this semester. Your capstone assignment, which is worth 200 points, is basically what you do, the work that you do in this financial planning portal set up at Bayrock. So you have to create an account. Again, most of you have done that, but those of you who have not yet done that, um, if you wouldn't mind, well, I would ask you to chat in and tell me that. If you have not set up, created your account at Bayrock, go ahead and chat in and just let me know so I can keep my eyes open, because here's what happens. If you watch this video, you know that what happens is you create your account, you set up your plan, you hit the complete button, and once you hit that complete button after you set up those 6 data cards, at that point, I will get an email. Someone on my team will then go into your plan and we will update it so that you have access to all of the data cards that you're going to need this semester to create your own financial plan, but also to complete your capstone assignment, which again is worth 200 points. So each week we add a little bit to your capstone assignment, which basically means we add a little bit to your financial plan. And we do that in this portal where you created your account at, it's actually Right Capital. That's the company, the technology that we use for financial planning software, and it's branded for Bayrock, my company. And this is the form that you go to when you create your account. So I see a couple of you are saying that you have not yet created your account. You're going to want to do that as soon as this Zoom meeting is over. You might even want to do it now if you can multitask. It takes just a couple of minutes, and it might make sense to you to have that done. Again, once you do that, you're going to, if you haven't watched this video, you're certainly welcome to watch this video and see how to set up those first 6 simple data cards. That's basically how you're setting up your plan. Once you do that, someone on my team will need to go in, and what we will do, let me just show you. I'm just going to scroll through this post, which has a video, which is kind of a tutorial video, and it walks you through it. And again, I did post this in the podcast, so you can listen to it. I would suggest watching the video so you can see the screen that you're going to be working on. But it'll take you to this form at first. You'll put in your password, your name, and you can certainly use the email address, your U of H email address, to create your plan or create your account at Bayrock. You're actually creating an account at Bayrock, my company. I use the same premium financial planning tool with clients as I use with students. So you're getting access to a really robust financial planning software. And it comes with a very cool mobile app. So I want to mention this for a minute. I don't know if you've watched any of my videos, and hopefully you have. You've seen that I kind of make a joke out of the idea that if you decide that you want to link your accounts in your financial plan, that's like cheating, because it is like cheating. It makes it so easy to keep track of your spending. And so that's one of the things I'm asking you to do this semester, is just keep track, be accountable for everything that you spend. For most of you, it's super easy. You're using your bank app. That's great. Whatever tool you're using to be accountable to yourself for your spending, that's part of this semester. It's part of the assignment. It's just show yourself, prove to yourself that you understand one of the most important essential elements of financial planning, which is simply to be accountable with your spending. And so there's all kinds of ways to do that. In the old days, when I was in college, we didn't have apps, we didn't have the internet. Um, and so I don't even think we had Excel. I mean, we didn't even have computers. Honestly, we typed on a typewriter. It was the old days, like back in the day when Noah built the ark and dirt was just barely new. Okay, that was a long time ago. But today you have all these tools that can make it super easy to be accountable. I know some of you would prefer to use an Excel spreadsheet, but that's infinitely more work than letting a tool do it for you, a tool like your bank app. Because what happens is if you use, I use a credit card. I have actually more than one credit card. I don't think I have any debit cards. Maybe I do somewhere, one, but I don't use debit cards. Most of you use debit cards. It doesn't really matter. Whatever you use, whatever piece of plastic you use to spend money, that is tracked at the financial institution that issued the card. And so it's super easy for you to keep track of everything you spend to the penny. Now, most people over the course of my teaching this, over the years that I've been teaching this course, the number one most popular app for managing or tracking spending is mint.com. So if you're not familiar with mint.com, it's a tool we call in the business an aggregator. They have bank level encryption, which lets you put in your credentials for each of the institutions where you have money, your bank, your investment broker, your 401k. You put in those credentials and it feeds or aggregates all of your financial data so you can see it in one place. It's a fantastic tool, mint.com. The only difference between mint.com and what you have with Bayrock and Right Capital is you don't get advertisements. So when you sign up for mint.com, because it's free and it's a great tool, you get companies trying to sell you stuff as a result of you giving them your information. So caveat, warning, please listen to what I'm about to say. I do not want you to link your cards in the Bayrock planning portal. I don't want to have access to any more of your information than is absolutely necessary for the purposes of this course. And I get comments at the end of the semester, official comments in my Bauer evaluation saying that he tried to get me to link my credit cards in this thing that's his company. And I, I get that you don't want to do that. So I'm telling you, don't do that. And if you do decide to do that, it's like cheating because you have access to all this powerful technology that gives you an unreasonable advantage in terms of managing your money. And I don't want you to cheat. I don't want to be the one that's responsible for giving you an unreasonable advantage in this game called wealth management. I don't want to be that guy. So, as you can tell, I'm kind of kidding. You certainly have access to the tool and the technology, and whether you want to use it or not is totally up to you. It will not impact your grade. However, at the end of the semester, I am going to ask you to show me that you tracked your spending. And so one of the things I've asked you to do is tell me, what are you going to use to track your spending? I would assume if I were you, I would just use my bank app. Some of you want to use another tool that's more designed for building a budget and so forth. That's awesome. I just want to know what you're using. I'm not telling you what to use. I don't really care what you use. On the other hand, some of you are telling me that you're going to use an Excel spreadsheet. And I know from experience that that is a lot more work. And that requires you to have a certain discipline of entering all of the data. And I know from experience that won't happen. So I have yet to meet a student who used Excel to track their spending and then presented it at the end of the semester with what I would consider accurate and complete information for their spending. And believe me, there are ways that I can tell that it's just not accurate. So that's all I'm going to say is that if you decide to use Excel at the end of the semester, when you do that one assignment, where I ask you to show me the data, you'll probably get a deduction because your data is going to be incomplete and inaccurate. But if you use your bank app, it's automatic, right? Because you're using that card every time you spend, you use your debit card and it tracks it. And that's all I'm asking you to do is track your spending. From there, I'm asking you to think about how much money you're going to spend, and that's what we call a budget. And I'm asking you throughout the semester to consider all of the expense categories that go into your life. Some of those expenses are being paid by your parents right now. So you would, if you're an accounting major, that would be considered income, right? Somebody is giving you money and then you're turning around and spending it. And so if you're an accounting major and you're creating a budget, that would be income and expense because somebody's giving you the money, whether it's the government or your parents or your grandparents or a grant. A grant would be the government, a student loan. However that money is coming into your life, even if it's not from you working and earning the money, it still would be considered income. And so for the purpose of this semester in your budget, I'm asking you to basically think about all of the categories that are involved in the cost of your life. Things like utilities and Wi-Fi and iPhone and eating out and food and rent, or, every kind of utility you can think of, including, or, well, rent is not a utility, but it's part of cost of living. So if you're living in the dorm and you're paying room and board, and if that money's coming from your parents, you would still consider that income and then outflow. So just be thinking about that, because what's going to happen is at some point you're going to graduate. When you graduate, at some point you're going to be responsible for your own bills. So I'm just thinking it makes sense that if that's true, if someday you're going to be responsible for your own bills, we should start now and start in thinking about and framing out, what does that budget for you look like? I want to kind of urge you into reality in terms of thinking about the cost of your life. And that's just part of this process throughout the semester. So that's one of the reasons that I want you to use a tool to track your spending. And I want you to think about all of the costs that are associated with your life that are not part of your actual debit card, but are coming in and going out behind the scenes. Things that you may have not considered up until now. So when you graduate, you're going to have all of these bills that come with life. And that's what I want you to be familiar with. So you're going to start to get familiar with that. So again, you have an app. It's a very handy app. Pretty cool little app, the mobile app, and it's branded. So this post just tells you how to get that set up. Now I want to mention what is in your financial plan. So before I do that, let me just go see if I can go to this. I've been keeping track of your comments, and I've been just kind of making a list. You're giving me your definition of a financial plan. So I want to just affirm you and thank you for doing that. Keep doing that. I like this one. I try not to give personal information when I post this stuff. I try to delete your name and your student number, but I just want to keep your comments. And this student said a roadmap or a financial plan is like a roadmap. I think that's great. And then we have what do you think is a millionaire? So what I'm doing now is I've been over throughout the course of the week taking your comments and the things that you've been posting in your class collaboration. And by the way, you're doing a great job so far. Every assignment that I've graded, you guys really get it, and I appreciate that. So the whole point of your class collaboration, that 200 points that you will earn throughout the semester, is just to show me that you're engaged in the content, that you're thinking about the ideas, and that you're putting it into practice and you're thinking about it. So it's just my way of knowing that you are kind of engaged. And so those comments that you're posting in money study groups, pretty much primarily I'm grabbing them from money study group. That's what you're looking at on the screen, is content that students have posted, and I just grabbed it and created a document. but one of the questions is, what does it mean to be a millionaire? And I'm not sure that we talked about that last week. When we open the course, it's one of the things that I talk about. Summer school is a little different because we go so fast, and we try to do two per lecture. So I want to spend a minute and just kind of unpack what does it mean to be a millionaire. So if you can unmute yourself and tell me what it is, or if you want to just type it in the uh, chat box, I'd like to know what you think it means to be a millionaire, because I think since that is the big idea of this course, is to teach you how to become a millionaire by the time you're 50. Since that's the big idea, I feel like I owe it to you to make sure that we're on the same page about the definition of a millionaire. So one student, every semester this happens, one or more students tell me that their goal in this course and their financial goal in life is to become a billionaire with a B, a billionaire, not a millionaire, but a billionaire. And so I always have pretty much the same comments. I think you signed up for the wrong course, because I have no idea how to do that. And I wouldn't want to teach a course that I don't have any idea how to do that. And so if that's your uh, goal, to become a billionaire, that's way beyond my pay grade. And I want to wish you luck, but I think you probably signed up for the wrong course, because to become a billionaire is different, very different, like with some extra zeros. But I do want you to know what a millionaire is, that my definition of a millionaire. So what is yours? I haven't seen any comments in the chat, so I'm just going to wait and give it a minute, let you guys think about it, and just post, especially if you're an accounting major. I mean, think about, what does it mean to be a millionaire? Does it mean you make $1 million a year? A multi-million dollar income each year? Does it mean you have $1 million in your bank account? What does it mean to you to be a millionaire? And I'm waiting. Here we go. Tom, thank you. A person whose assets are worth $1 million or more. That's good. That's close, but it's missing something. Remember, if you're I don't know, Tom, what your major is, but if you're an accounting major, you know that assets are part of it. Leighton says, I feel like a millionaire is someone whose assets total over $1 million, extra points if they have 6 months of savings and assets that are over $1 million. That's good, but it's close. Jason says, for your net worth to be over $999,999. That's good, net worth. So Jason, tell me, what is net worth? How do you come up with the number that says my net worth is $1 million? How do you do that? What does that mean? What are the pieces of that puzzle that create that picture of a millionaire? I'd like to think liquid assets. So Jason, liquid assets, that's helpful. Liquid assets are generally pretty helpful, but there's something we're missing. In addition to assets, what else do we have? Net worth equals assets minus liabilities. So I know a lot of people who live in $1 million house, but they owe the bank $950,000. So what does that do to the equation? Does that make them, by my definition or your definition, a millionaire? To me, millionaire is someone who doesn't have any liabilities. Okay, so that may be true too, no liabilities. But I just want you to think about kind of the formula for net worth, and that is you may have liabilities, but you also have assets. And when you subtract your liabilities, what you owe the bank, what you have in debt, when you subtract that from your assets, you have $1 million. So that's what I'm trying to get you to think about. That's a goal that I know how to do. That's a goal that I believe is very achievable for you by the time you turn 50. To have $1 million in net worth, meaning you have $1 million saved over and above anything you owe in student loans, credit cards, the bank, the mortgage, all of that. So that's a very simple and very achievable and very specific goal. So I just want to make sure that that's clear, that I'm trying to teach you how to achieve something that I know how to do. I've done it myself. It was a and to do that by age 50 requires that you understand a few of the basic principles and the process of financial planning, which is what I'm going to teach you this semester. So that's what the definition of a millionaire is, and the one that we're working with at any rate in this course of personal finance. It's to have $1 million net worth. That means you have assets that exceed $1 million after you subtract any debt that you have. So one of the things we're going to work on this semester is credit cards, debt, and part of your homework assignment is going to be to use your financial planning tool to identify better strategies for paying off debt. And we call those credit strategies. I call it Credit Crush because I want to teach you how credit works and why it's so important that you pay attention and manage your debt. So just wanted to kind of highlight, what does it mean to be a millionaire? So lots of you have given me great input about your financial future, what it is you envision for your future and what it is you want. And 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 25 years from now. When I was in college, I read a book called The Millionaire Next Door. And that book got me to thinking. One of the questions I've been asking you guys is tell me what you're reading. So if you haven't heard of it or you haven't read it, you might be interested. It's called The Millionaire Next Door. And I don't know why that book was so meaningful to me, except it just made sense. It was the first time in my entire life in college that I had any idea of what it meant to be a millionaire. And more than that, once I had the idea in my mind, once I could actually understand what it was, and these authors, Danko and I can't remember the other guy's name, two authors wrote the book, The Millionaire Next Door. And they gave a pretty good definition and they described the lifestyle of the millionaire next door and the priorities or the values of these people that they called the millionaire next door. And what was interesting, one of the things that was interesting is that these people who they called the millionaire next door, they didn't look like millionaires. They didn't live in big houses. They didn't drive new cars. They were very frugal. And I thought, I grew up in a household where we didn't have a lot of money, so being frugal made sense to me. Basically, it means you don't spend everything you make, you save. And that's what the Millionaire Next Door was about. How do you take what you earn and save it and invest it and try to build wealth? One of the things they talked about in the Millionaire Next Door was buying used cars. And I don't know if I told you, but I left home when I was just barely 16 years old. And I went to Denver. I moved to Denver from Michigan. I went to Denver Automotive and Diesel College, where I learned to work to be a mechanic. My dad was a mechanic, and I thought that would make him proud of me. And I wanted a way to make money. And most of all, I wanted to get out of the house because my dad was way too strict. And I was just ready to get out on my own. So I saved my money. I moved to Denver. I went to trade school. I paid for it myself. I had my own car. I got a job. I worked really hard. But I became a certified master mechanic. And I learned a trade. I learned how to fix cars. And so, yeah, Thomas J. Stanley, Tom. Danko, I think there's another co-author. So there were two of them. But at any rate, I became a master mechanic before I went to college, that's how I paid for college, was my skills as a mechanic. I worked at Montgomery Ward's and Sears and Firestone and Goodyear. I worked at any place where they would hire a college kid, and I always had a job, and I always made pretty good money as a college student. But when I read that book, The Millionaire Next Door, that's what resonated with me, is the fact that I could definitely buy cars used, fix them up, and maybe even sell them, which is what I did with my student loans. I bought old used cars, fixed them up, and sold them. And I probably didn't make any money doing that, but it was fun and it felt good. And I eventually paid off my student loan. But when I read The Millionaire Next Door, I knew, I believed, I had a vision that was clear for my life that made sense, that I thought I can work towards that. And so becoming a millionaire to me was, it started with having the idea of being a millionaire, and how then all of the things got filled in, the basic disciplines that come with becoming a millionaire. So we haven't talked about disciplines. We will, but discipline is basically that little thing that you can do that will equip you to do that really big thing that you could never do if you didn't have the little discipline that you can do. And so one of the most important disciplines in this game of financial planning is being accountable with all of your money. It's a small little thing that you can do. It's a discipline, a small thing that you can do that will equip you to do the really big thing that you could never do if you didn't have the little discipline. And so the big thing that I want to teach you how to do is to become a millionaire by the time you're 50. And to do that, you're going to have to develop some disciplines. Not some discipline, but some disciplines, some little things that you can do that will give you the muscle, help you build the muscle to do the really big, difficult thing that you could never do if you didn't have the muscle that came from doing the little disciplines that build the muscle to equip you to do the really big thing that you could never do if you didn't have the muscle that you didn't build by doing the little thing called the little discipline, like keeping track of your spending. So it starts with a vision. Okay, Eminem, lots of laugh. Oh, it's like Eminem. Okay, yeah, never mind. Okay, sorry about that. I did get a little off track there. You're right. So anyway, you guys shared with me your vision for your life, 5 years, 10 years, 25 years from now. And I just wanted to share a little bit about my life and how it unpacked it and unraveled in such a way that becoming a millionaire by the time I was 50 it started with an idea. Okay, I want you to have that idea. I want you to think about your life with some discipline, financial discipline, and a vision for your future that includes managing money and doing it smartly, and I'll teach you how to do that. I'm glad it made sense, Jason. Thanks. So the other question I asked is, how do you feel about online courses? And, I think you guys gave me all the information that I needed to really understand this cohort. And I have my own feelings about online courses. Most of you enjoy it because of the flexibility, and I think that's the key thing, is because of the technology we have these days. We can do this online, and we have that's possible. It doesn't make it better, doesn't replace the human interaction that we had when we could shake each other's hand and fist bump and elbow bump, and maybe occasionally at the end of the semester give each other a hug. Doesn't replace that. Doesn't replace the human interaction. And I miss that. I like that. I appreciate that. But you know what? With gas at $5 a gallon, and traffic in Houston sometimes crazy, and when it rains, it pours and we get flooded, all of those things. I'm sitting in a studio at my house because my office is closed this week. For 2 weeks, I office at the Innovation Center, and they're putting new lights in. And so they basically said, you don't have a place to work. So I'm working at home right now. And to me, just like for you, online courses make it easy to do that. So I appreciate it. And that's why I do it. That's why I teach online. So, anyway, that's kind of some of the questions. I asked you how you're feeling about your financial future. And I know typically one of the most common answers I get is you're stressed, you're anxious. And I get that. And so, one of the things I want to teach you, one of the things I want uh, as far as an outcome for this semester, is I want to help you have more clarity around your personal finance, around what you do with money. More clarity means, it's just like that vision. I told you when I read that book, The Millionaire Next Door, and I started to think about what it would be for me to become a millionaire, that idea began to take shape in my life, and that vision became more and more clear. And as that vision became more clear, I had more clarity around the little things that I needed to do so that over time that vision would become reality. Does that make sense? I hope it does. But that vision uh, created some clarity for what I actually needed to do in my own life. And that's one of the things that I promise will happen for you if you pay attention, if you stay engaged. You're going to become more clear. You're going to have more clarity around your financial life. And that clarity is going to create more confidence. And confidence is pretty important because sometimes things happen that are unexpected and you don't really feel, you don't feel very confident. I don't feel very confident right now because the stock market is just crushing my investments. And I'm a pretty aggressive investor, and it's just ugly and it's painful, and I'm feeling it. There's lots of uncertainty in the market with inflation and recession and war in Ukraine and all of that. So your financial life is full of things that create uncertainty, but your plan and what you're doing, those things can give you clarity, and that will develop confidence in the long run that you're going to do just fine, that you're going to, and I'm going to teach you those things. It's not going to help on days when the market crashes and you watch your 401k drop when you're my age. But I'm going to teach you why those kind of things that happen in the stock market and in your investments over the course of your life, how you can take advantage of those. And by the end of the semester, you're going to feel very confident that you have a plan and that it will work over the long term. I promise you that. So clarity, confidence, and the next one is something that I've been told is a little fuzzy and a little bit uh, uh, I don't know what the word is, maybe hyperbole, maybe it's over promising, because the next one is clarity, confidence, and really what I hope for you is that you experience more contentment in your financial life. So when I worked at Morgan Stanley, I had to go through this amazing training program. And one of the things we did was they brought in professional actors and actresses, and they interviewed us as if they were clients or prospective clients. And we were supposed to help them understand what our unique value proposition was. So why would you hire me to be your financial advisor? What can you offer to me that's different than the next guy? And that's basically what I just told you is what I told them is I believe I can help you create a plan. And I believe in the process of helping you create a plan, I will actually help you develop more clarity and more confidence in your financial life, which will result in more contentment. I didn't say it exactly like that, but those were the words and the ideas that I used because that's what I believe happens when you have a good, workable, effective plan that connects your purpose, what you really care about, with your life, with your actual financial decisions. I believe you get more clarity, more confidence, and more contentment. And so that's what I told the folks at Morgan Stanley. And they said, you were awesome, except for that. They said, you got a great way of being, and we like you, and you're likable, and you're trustworthy, and we liked everything, but that was a little over the top, they said. So it is what it is. Maybe it's over the top, but I promise you, if you have a good plan, you will have an unreasonable advantage over everyone who doesn't. And that includes your goals and what are you going to do to achieve those goals and the things that we're going to talk about in this course, because one of the things I would love to do is, as much as possible, I want to eliminate the really stressed part of your financial life. That comes from uncertainty, it comes from not knowing, it comes from not having a plan. And those are things that a financial planning, um, the work that we do this semester, can really move the needle on in your life. So that's important to me. That's why I'm here. I hope that you will join us. I hope that you'll believe. That's what I hope. Because just like when I read the book, The Millionaire Next Door, I had to at some point come to believe that I could do that. Because if you never come to believe that you can do it, you won't do it. If you just can't envision something in your life as a reality, you can never work towards it. So that's why the goal, the big idea, those things are important to me to make sure that that's clear. Okay, let's go back to, let's see, setting up your financial plan. I wanted to just kind of highlight, since I asked you the question, what is a financial plan? This semester, I want to make sure that I answer that question. In fact, that's why I called season 2 of Missional Money, the podcast. It's dedicated to, did I change it? Yes, it's dedicated to what is a financial plan. So if you're not checking out the podcast, I just want you to know it's kind of for you. It's not just for you, though. This is what I do. And the definition of a financial plan is different for everybody. You talk to a CPA, you talk to an estate attorney, you talk to a college student or someone who's getting ready to retire. You know, there's just so many different definitions of a financial plan. So I appreciate your definition, but I want to show you what is a financial plan this semester. And so to do that, what's in your financial plan? This is an actual, like, this is my way of saying, okay, I think I have a really great tool, Bright Capital software. It's a great tool for me because it's easy to use. I think it's great for clients because it's really good for collaboration. And I think you'll see that this semester. But these are all of the components. Like, this is the dashboard, the first few things you'll see, the elements in your financial plan. These are actual like data cards. They're pieces of information that go into your plan that I'm going to walk you through this semester. So when I say what's in your financial plan, I'm talking right now specifically about what's in your Right Capital, your Bayrock financial planning portal, and what are we building into your capstone. So these are all of the pieces, and you can just look at these and see, but I'm going to teach you and unpack these over the semester. Not all of them, but we will spend some time on insurance, and we'll spend a lot of time on investments. So we'll talk about taxes, tax strategies, tax advantaged investing. We won't spend a lot of time in estate planning, but that is a very important part of a financial plan. So then we have in your financial plan, you have a tab called net worth. And these are the 6 first data cards that you have to complete when you create your account. So most of you have already done that. So you know in your financial plan, these data cards are already there. And you had to go and enter information in each of these income, savings, expenses, family goals, and then you hit complete. And once you hit complete, I get an email that says you completed the setup of your financial plan. But the rest of this stuff, I have to go in and unlock it in your plan. So that's the big idea of today's lesson: is you need to do that today, because here's what's going to happen. If your financial plan doesn't have all of these components, it's because I didn't no one on my team went in and gave them to you. We didn't go in and change or edit or update or modify your plan. And the reason we didn't do that is because it wasn't there. So right now, those of you who said, I haven't done that yet, if my team goes in and updates all of the plans that we have that we're working on this semester, and your plan isn't even created, then your plan's not going to get updated. The problem is when I assign the next assignment in Blackboard, you're going to need screenshots from those data cards, but you're not going to have access to those data cards. So you need to create your plan today. So it's now 10:46 a.m. on Tuesday, June 14th, 2022. And I'm making this announcement on the Zoom meeting. This is part of something. If you're, I know we have about 20 folks, I think, in the Zoom meeting right now, but we have about 60 students total in this summer course, which means about 40 of you need to be watching this on YouTube or Facebook. And this is an important announcement. So for those of you who are watching and are listening, you will be encouraged to share this announcement in GroupMe for the students who are really curious. Why am I not seeing this information? Because if students have not created their plan, or they create it after today, they're not going to see that. And so here's the point. Here's what you need to do if you find yourself in that situation where you're getting deductions on your assignment because you don't have access to the pieces of the puzzle that you need because you waited too long and you didn't hear the announcement, you didn't watch the Zoom meeting, you didn't keep up, and so you get deductions. That's what happens. And you're going to get your deductions, but that's okay. You still want to do the assignment even when you get deductions. And then you want to email me or text me. You can email or text me, and then I will go in and have someone on my team go in special for you to update your financial plan. So we have to create Bayrock today and fill in. Yes, you need to create that account, fill in the information today. Good question. Thank you for noticing. That's what the announcement is. If you haven't already done this, do it. You have the links in Money Study Group. Again, it's at missionalmoney.com. You just click on that link, update your plan. It will take you right to, I'm not going to click on that because then my iPad goes crazy, but it'll take you right to this form where you sign up. You'll enter your email address, your password, your first and last name, click the I agree, and you can read the terms if you'd like, but click create account and you will have an account. And then you will be given a link by email to go in and update those 6 data cards that are part of basically the first steps of creating your financial plan. And you need to do that today. Should I put they do not ask for your social security number. I do not want your social security number. Nope. Birthday. Now, so you will need to add your birthday because your whole financial plan is built on this idea that you have so many years on this planet. So for now, you can use your real birthday, but I'm going to, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to suggest that you change your birthday because we're going to be working with numbers for most of you because you're so young. I want you to see what your financial plan will look like 10 years from now. So at some point very soon, I'll say go and change your birthday so that we're going to put in some accounts and put in some money and make it look like you've been saving in your 401k or your Roth IRA, and we're going to create kind of an imaginary plan based on your life, based on your income, based on your expenses, and we're going to want to see what that looks like 10 years from now. So as we add resources in your plan, it will make more sense if you're 10 years older. So You can put your birthday in, your real birthday in now, and I'll just remind you later that you'll want to change that because it makes a huge difference in the projections in your financial plan. Yeah, it does not ask for your social security number. I promise you that. We don't want that information. Um, you do not, Joseph, you do not have to put in any card information. No, just your email address and a birthday. You can make up your birthday or you can use your real birthday. At some point, I'm going to say, let's make you 10 years older. Did I lost? I'm not sure what that means after create account. Okay, well, if that's true, then if you don't know what email address you used, I don't know. There's no social security number. If they asked you for a social security number, you were in the wrong place. And so, again, you can go to this link at missionalmoney.com. It's also in Money Study Group, and that's going to take you here to this form. If you already did it, if you already signed up and gave an email, a name, and a password, then you don't want to sign up and create a new account. You already have an account. You just click that little button at the bottom right that says log in, and then you put in the email that you used. If you don't know what email you used, I can't help you. You're going to probably have to do it again. You're in. So are you logged into your plan? Yep. It is, yes. You have 6 data cards that you need to fill in, and that's the first thing you do when you create your account. Yep, I'd skip the Social Security for now. If you don't have income, you can skip that one too. You can skip all of them, but I would encourage you to put whatever information is accurate at this point into the data card. Yep, yep. Yeah, soon I'm going to say, let's go back to your income and let's assume that you got the job, you graduated and you got the job that you really wanted. What will your income be? And then I'll say, go back and update that. But for now, you don't even need to worry about that. Just you want to go through each of those data cards and put in whatever information makes sense to you right now. You can add a manual account. You can say I have $10 in the bank and I want to add a manual account. You can do that if you want, or you can skip that for now and go to the next one. Yep. And every week I'm going to be helping you build on to this plan, but what you're doing right now is the very first steps. And don't forget, after you go through each of those 6 pieces, those 6 data cards, do you see the complete button at the bottom right? Yep. So you have to hit the complete button. Once you do that, then I'll get an email that says you've completed, you've set up your plan, and then I will go into your plan and I will update it. And I could show you how to do that. So someone on my team will need to do that, and that's why I'm saying do it today. Set up your plan. You don't. It will take you 2 minutes, right? How long will it take? 2 minutes. So do the 2 minute assignment now. And then once you've done that, I'll go in and I'll update your plan so that you have access to everything you're going to need in the assignments that are going to be posted in Blackboard. Thank you. That was a great question. Anyone else? Yes, oh, um, Okay, so no one should be giving a social security number, and no one should be linking your accounts unless you really want to. But don't do it because you think I want you to do it, because I couldn't care less. I don't want you to link your accounts. If it helps you, though, it's there. It's a very valuable tool. And like I said, it would make your plan much more robust if you did. If any of you use mint.com, you know what I'm talking about. If you've never done that, you probably don't know and you probably don't care, and that's fine. Um, so I don't want anybody to complain at the end of the semester that I tried to encourage you to link your accounts and give me personal information that you did not want me to have. I do not want your personal information. You can make things up in your plan. I'm going to encourage you to make some things up so that you can see how it works. And currently, from what I know about most of you, you're not really making a whole lot of money and you don't really have the, some of you do. And for those of you who do, this planning portal is going to be more valuable. But if you're just living on parental income, and you don't really have income and you're not really managing bills and so on, a lot of the work you do this semester is going to be a little bit, um, you're going to have to use your imagination to learn and understand. Any questions, comments? Okay, let's see, what else do we have here before we terminate? So you saw that I posted that. I'd say that's a good place to start. If you haven't done it, if you've already set up your plan, you're good to go. You're ready for the next assignment. So I will see you in the next assignment, in the next video. I appreciate all your help in GroupMe, those of you who have been answering questions. Some of you have been, a couple of you have been sending me questions that probably you should post in GroupMe. So if you sent me a question and I didn't get a reply to you, it was either because I was just too busy, um, but I hope that you will post those questions in GroupMe. If they're questions that can't be answered in GroupMe, then please reach out to me. But if you haven't asked your questions in GroupMe, start there, please. And give other students the opportunity to answer your question. I appreciate that. Any questions, comments? I'm going to read those chats. I don't see any questions. Okay, I think we're going to wrap it up. You'll have 2 assignments this week. Just like last week, I'm going to go and grade the assignments that are in the queue. I'm going to post 2 more assignments today so that you have them in Blackboard. You're doing a great job. Keep up. It goes fast. Summer school goes fast. If I can help or you need something, let me know. I'm looking for comments, questions, no questions. All right, post your question now if you have one. I'm about to hit end. Okay, I'm going to jump over here and end the broadcast. That's going to be it for today. I'll see you next week. This is Jim Munchback signing off.